In this video, we will review procedures that will remove a stuck seat post.
Or maybe they won't.
Normally, the procedure to change the saddle height or remove the post should be fairly simple.
The seat post collar is loosened. The saddle and post moved as needed. And the seat post collar is resecured.
If nothing is moving, the post might be a bit stuck. Or really stuck. Before we go any further, we should discuss some things about this unfortunate situation.
We're going to show you some techniques that have worked. These procedures are going to be in rough order of increased severity.
However, keep in mind there is no single technique that guarantees results. Be aware that there are some procedures that can result in damage to the post and sometimes even the frame.
There are, of course, more drastic measures involving sophisticated machining, such as boring out the post, and other techniques using dangerous chemicals. We are not going to review those in this video.
It is typically best to assume that at a minimum, you will need a new seat post. Regardless, before trying any procedure here, begin by checking with the bike manufacturer for their recommendations to remove a stuck seat post.
The actual lesson to take away from this video is prevention. Be sure you are using a material such as grease, anti-seize, or assembly compound between the post and your frame. Occasionally, remove the post, say once a year. Wipe it clean, wipe the frame, reapply.
And hopefully, if you do that, you'll avoid needing the rest of this video.
Let's look at what can cause a stuck seat post. It might be that the post is simply pushed too far into the frame. The seat tube is curved and a long post would just get jammed down there inside the frame. Unfortunately, a more common cause is that corrosion or rust has developed between the seat post and the frame. This excess material fills the space inside the tube and squeezes the seat post tightly. It's almost as if the inside of the seat tube has become too small for the seat post. The inside of the frame will need to have this corrosion cleaned out. But first, you must get the post out of the way.
A word about dropper seat posts. There's two main parts that telescope with one another. There's the lower tube. There's also the upper tube, also known as the stanchion. If at all possible, clamp or grab onto the lower tube and turn and pull. But if you can't, if there's not enough exposed, grab onto the top of the post. But keep in mind, there could be damage and you may not get to reuse this dropper post.
There are some standard procedures you should run through when you think the post is stuck. Number one, double check that that binder is loose. It's a good idea as well to get some penetrating oil, give it a soak. We're gonna spray it around, give it some time to wick in. Okay, next. It's a good idea to make a scribe line. I'm gonna make a mark here to track my progress or lack thereof. If you're twisting and it's not coming up, you need other actions. Do not scribe the carbon post. Carbon post, put a piece of tape on. Open, it's oiled. Next, we're gonna brace ourselves behind the bike, over the saddle, grab it front to back and give it a good twist and it's moving. It's probably gonna be a good day. Give it some back and forth. It can also help. We put our foot on the pedal and we're twisting, we got motion. The scribe line is coming up. It is working, but we gotta be patient. Up, 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 and that's how it's supposed to work on a good day. The aerodynamic or D-style seat posts do not rotate inside the seat tube. If just pulling doesn't work, you might try impact. Mount the bike in a heavy-duty repair stand. Grab up against the head of the post. place the seat tube vertically to the ground. Put the pedal in line with the seat tube. Use a block of wood on the pedal and strike it with a mallet. Use care as you reach the end of the seat post so the bike doesn't fall uncontrollably. Sometimes there are those bikes that need more horsepower. Come in. Oh. Looks like we need some more leverage.
If grabbing the post and turning it doesn't produce any movement, sometimes you need to add more leverage. One option is a pipe wrench. A pipe wrench and a lot of other methods of fixturing and grabbing the post will damage the post. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Adjust the wrench's jaws so they contact the post. Turn in the direction towards the side of the wrench with the open jaws. Turn with force.
Nope. Well, that didn't work. This one's gonna take a little bit more thought. Maybe it's just stuck.
As another method, a bike repair stand can be used to hold the seat post. Use a heavy grit sandpaper, fold it in half, and wrap it tightly around the post. Now grab the post in the jaws of the stand. Adjust the clamp so it is squeezing tightly. The grit paper helps hold the post in the clamp jaws as the frame is used as a lever to twist. Grab the head tube and back of the bike as you attempt to rotate the bike in the stand. If the frame is moving as the post is holding firm in the jaws, push downward as you turn the frame. If you're seeing progress, be patient. It should be a successful repair. Use care as you reach the end of the seat post so the bike doesn't fall uncontrollably.
Another method to fixture the bike to gain more leverage is to use a well-mounted bench vise. It can help to prepare the bike a little bit, and it can help to remove the wheels.
Again, make sure that collar is loose and free. Take the saddle off and any hardware on top. Get down to the post on the square top fitting. We take it out of the stand and we move to the vise. If there are flats on the post, use these to hold in the vise with the bike upside down. If the post is extremely tight, avoid grabbing the rear dropouts for leverage. Excess pulling can stress and pull the rear stays. Pulling primarily on the head tube, twist the bike around the post. If the post is moving in the frame, pull upwards as you twist the bike. It is also possible the head of the post will break free of the seat post. This basically ruins the post, but at this point, the post will need to be replaced anyway. If your vise has a pipe clamping section, you can also clamp here with the bike horizontal. Attempt to rotate the bike around the axis of the post as you pull on the frame. Pass the fluting.
Yep.
Easy, Trimmer. Watch yourself.
I got my back foot back.
Yeah. Again, use care when you reach the end of the post. Here you go. It's yours, it's yours.
Yeah.
Heat tends to expand things. Cold tends to contract things. The thermal expansion differences can be used sometimes to help free the post. Well, it's actually pretty hard to contract with cold that seat post. It's hard to chill here without chilling the whole thing.
So we're gonna be using heat to hopefully expand nice and evenly this seat tube. And hopefully that expands and it will help loosen that layer of corrosion between the post and the seat tube.
Are worried about the tool, we're going to be using the heat gun again, not an open flame. Other things could work, but we're trying to be safe as we can be, and it's going to be hot. We're going to be looking for about 200 degrees. Let's hit it.
This bike might be an ideal candidate. The seat post is carbon fiber, which is basically an insulator. The seat tube is aluminum and should be susceptible to thermal expansion. Heat guns can get quite hot, over 1,000 degrees. Back down the heat if adjustable. Aluminum melts around 1,200 degrees, so let's keep the tube under 300 degrees to be safe. It is certainly possible that we may lose some decals and ruin some paint. Be patient and heat evenly. We are over 200 degrees, so let's do the twist and see what happens.
This frame's hot. Don't touch here. That is pretty amazing. Pull on up.
Wow, I'm not helping. This is all Calvin Jones here. Freak strength.
We see that minimum line yet?
Ooh, baby, look at all that corrosion. Holy buckets. You're right there. Yeah, should just lift right up.
Oh. Don't touch. Give it a minute to cool down. Truman, that worked better than you thought it would?
That worked way better than I thought it would, Calvin.
I wonder if we had some expansion, but I'm also wondering, Truman, if we had some of this carbon, that's resin softening. Did we have any resin softening in that?
I don't know. Look at all this corrosion. This is what builds up and creates that pressure. This is a great example. That tube must have, and it just moved right away.
Yeah.
It must have just opened up just the smallest amount and then just made it very free.
Once it started to go, it went.
Man, with all this corrosion, I would have thought that would have been a lot more difficult.
Sometimes it works, and again, nothing works all the time, and on the heat, safety first.
Yep.
Seat post again can be stuck because of the corrosion down inside the tube. We can weaken that sometimes using a solvent. Now, this corrosion material tends to be a high pH, so we're going to use an acid. We're just going to go with simple vinegar. More acidic, many pops, and a lot less sticky and messy. Certainly there's some other chemicals out there, more powerful, more dangerous. We're going to stick with the vinegar and thyme. What we need to do is get the stuff out of our way. We're going to flip it upside down to let it soak from the top. We don't think we're going to get anything. So upside down, seat post nice and vertical. There we are. Sometimes you have to pull the bottom bracket. In our case not. We've got some water bottle bolts that give us some nice access inside. So what we've thought about here is creating a funnel. Show us our funnel here.
Here we have a little makeshift funnel, and we have a 5mm threaded end. We're going to thread that into this hole, this upper hole, and we're going to put this little funnel right there. Then what's going to happen, we're going to pour the vinegar in here, and once this tube is full up to here, it'll dribble out and tell us that this is completely full.
So Truman's going to do the pouring, and not that I don't trust his steady hand, but let's go ahead and put a little cardboard down Although vinegar is often a good wash, Truman.
Well, now I have to be steady-handed.
Nice. Steady, steady, steady. Oh no, is this fun? Here it goes. That's right, we have to fill all of this tube halfway up. Be interesting to see if anything leaks out the bottom. And there we are. Ready?
Oh!
There it comes.
Yeah, we overfilled it a little bit.
Yep. Now this stand's got to stay like this. It's going to sit like this. Voodoo buddy, we'll see you
In about a week.
in about a week. Okay. When we said do the twist, Truman, we didn't mean this.
That twisted right apart.
Yep, some torsion allowed, this split. This is now up the ladder to the jab saw. We've got to do some surgery to get this out.
Fun.
There are times you're just going to have to cut that seat post off and use another method. When doing this, never cut right flush with the top of the seat tube.
You want to leave about 2 to 3 centimeters of material above the top of the seat tube. In this case, luckily, our seat post broke off about that distance above the seat tube.
Cutting it exactly flush is going to really complicate things when we go to cut vertically and try and rip it out. So in this case, we're going to use a special saw called a jab saw. It's a hacksaw blade held in this handle that lets us go and cut down hidden or dead end holes.
And in this case, we are going to be using a fairly coarse hacksaw blade, in this case a 14 TPI. We're going to be cutting aluminum, and we don't want to be cutting the steel. But there's a lot of surface area in here, so that coarse blade is going to allow us to go through that quicker. When we say quicker, it's still going to take a long time.
And
you're going to need to
tedious.
You're going to have a lot of patience and tenacity to get through this process.
If this is a shop doing it, you can expect shop hours. But the first cut, actually, the traditional saw, we want to continue the slot wherever the slot is on that post.
So, in this case, we want this initial cut to be in line with our compression slit of our seat tube. So we're going to be starting this cut here. I'm going to start the cut on the draw and then start cutting in, and just take it nice and slow to make this first cut that's going to act as our guide for our jab saw. So we have our initial relief cut down just below the compression slot of the frame. So this is going to act as our guide for the jab saw. Now we're going to start implementing the jab saw. What's going to be good here is for us to change the position of the bike so that it's easier, more ergonomic for us to use the jab saw, because we're going to be using this jab saw for a long time.
That's right, and a good tool for that, you're going to want yourself a little place to sit. Now we come to the jab saw. One little thing here, we like to see how long that post is. We can feel where it ends. We've extended our blade. We're estimating the end of the post, so we're trying to cut the whole thing. So you're up at bat first, Truman.
All right.
Progress?
We're getting somewhere. We're gonna be here for a long time.
Slow and steady, I'm afraid, wins this race. Don't let this happen to you. Check your post-treatment today.
Yeah. All right, I'll keep going.
Truman, I've had my caffeine. I'm ready to go.
There you go.
Go take a nap.
I'm gonna go get my caffeine.
Sometimes you can do some thinking, empty your mind. I'm wondering now, these little particles that fall out, how big are they? How many little particles have to leave before we've made our cut? Those are the kind of things you think about. And I think we're darn close. Let's give it a break here. So close, possibly all the way through. We're gonna jump to the other side, continue that slot, get a series of slots, 3 or 4. Hopefully we're gonna collapse it. Time to flip it. As crude as this is, it still is machining. Fixturing is important. Holding it steady. This bike better had some sentimental value for the price tag that they're spending today. When we say be careful, you're cutting by feel, it can be tricky. A couple things to pay attention to. When you're cutting, there's the feel of cutting through aluminum, but when you start skinning that steel, it changes, that feeling changes. Also, the sound. Listen to the sound, the resonance as it passes through can change, again, once you start skinning that steel.
Oh, I think we're ready to try the next step here. Let's take a peek. We've got that pretty far down there, deep. That's looking good. So, the next step in this process, we're gonna be using a set of vice grips, and we're gonna be compressing this tube together. Let's see if we can hear anything happening.
That's a noise that we want.
Now we're gonna grab this one right here. I'm gonna grab it about halfway. Really try and grab onto it with a place with, thinking about twisting it.
Right, you're rolling it in.
We're gonna take this corner, roll it in, hopefully. Break some of it free there. Oh man. What do you think?
So close.
What do you think about any kind of lubrication?
Why don't we? Why don't we?
We don't. Did we bring it somewhere else?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's try give that a second.
We might need another slot.
Looks like. If at first you don't succeed, slot again. Cut another slot. We're gonna go ahead and give her another twist. So let's go ahead and grab this way. Oh boy, look at that collapse. Come on, baby. Talk to your equipment. Slipping, not really coming. The other side.
Yep. keep going.
Has to be.
Time for lunch.
Second verse, same as, well, what we just did.
All right, let's try this again.
We're gonna do it again. So we cut, 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 cut. Feel like we're to the wall. Well, let's give it a go. I'm gonna try and wrap this around and pull.
What?
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Let's put these two
Yeah,
together.
look at that. Yeah, and the corrosion. So the top of the seat tube was up here.
Yep,
The corrosion that was seemingly the problem was all the way down here.
yep, yep. Well, that is some kind of fun.
But we got it out with the jab saw.
Yeah.
There's another method for you.
Should we, ding, do we stop the tab on the taxi here? You've arrived. It's just
you've spent a bunch of money on it.
yeah.
now.
Great. After removing your post, whatever technique you've done, we can see the corrosion here. Where else is it? Down there. And we got to get down there. A rag can help sometimes, but sometimes we need to be a little more aggressive.
So in this case, what we're going to be using is called a flex hone or a ball hone. They have little abrasive balls on the end of a little flexible piece there. You'll put that into a drill and we'll tighten that into the chuck. And we're going to run this into the seat tube here. We're going to be going, cycle that up and down, keep it moving.
We're getting that corrosion out that fills that space, getting back to our original post diameter. After we're done, a rag through it, then put the new post in with some surface preparation. Trim in this nice old dog, we've done everything. We've twisted, we've heated, we've done the soak. Nothing's working. Is it time to cut?
It's such a cool bike, Calvin. It's got
It
such a
is.
cool post. It's got really thin tubing. The cutting's gonna be pretty dark. I've got an idea.
All right. Truman, this is quite the interesting experiment. This jig is fascinating. What do we have here?
Well, this is a puller. This is designed to go through the bottom bracket with a solid piece of steel and then have long uprights brace right against that and pull exactly in line with the seat tube. And we're gonna be hopefully using the power of threads to extract this seat post.
The threads that are very, very powerful in turning. We're gonna apply the power, like Truman said, we're coming straight up, applying that power. Not this way, not this way, straight up. Is it gonna work?
I sure hope it does.
One way to find out.
One way. Here we go.
One long seat post, they were ready to grow.
1 centimeter.
That was some major stickage.
That was quite stuck in there.
So where were we, about here?
Yeah.
Look at this, that more than half was
Oh
down
my
in
goodness.
and
Yeah, we had to
stuck.
pull so far. The pressure, it appears, was mostly on the bottom. There was a lot more down lower in the tube and higher.
You really have to love the machine and want to save the machine for this kind of rig.
Oh yeah, you gotta have a little bit more than just a little bit of motivation to go out of your way to build one of these.
Application of force and vector saves the day.
Well, that's another method of how to remove your stuck seat post.
Those are some of the techniques that may or may not help.
Often, you're gonna need to get creative.
You just go for it, but remember, there may not be nice, clean consequences.
The most important thing that you should have taken away from this video is that you should go remove your seat post, apply some grease or some form of assembly compound, and then reinstall your post.
And with that, thanks for sticking with us.